Now, of course, it's time for FOMO. So we are talking at a name that has held steady onto a nice gain throughout today's session. That is AMD, which is, I will say, well, it hasn't been the NVIDIA of the last year. It has been definitely one of the AI players to watch. Here to discuss more on this is Caroline Wood, Senior Markets Correspondent for the network. So Caroline, walk us through some of the things that have led to consistency, at least in AMD shares today. I know we're a bit off session highs, but still up about 2%.
Hey there, Jenny. Yeah, seeing an impressive gain today. There's news that that AMD unveiled a new series of processors for AI-enabled business PCs and desktops. So as you said, coming for NVIDIA. So that could be driving shares higher. But then there's also some positive analyst action that's likely giving this boost to shares. So shares are up about 1.5% right now, but it's been a pretty rough month for AMD. Shares down almost 10% in April so far. And one analyst over at HSBC says now is the time to buy the dip. He upgraded shares to buy from hold with a price target of $225, up from his previous target of $180. As you can see here, AMD currently trading around $162.39. So that represents about 40% upside from where it's currently trading.
Morgan, thank you. Yeah, Lisa Su, thank you so much for having us here on Overtime here at the AMD campus in Austin. We're just talking about Oracle's report. Of course, we need to be careful that they always give their guidance on the call, but so much of what they're reporting is coming out of data center, which has been just a huge growth area for you. Today at South by Southwest, though, you were talking also about the AI PC, about the client side. So hoping to start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, John, thank you for being in Austin. We're very happy to host you on our campus today. Look, it's been a great day. I really enjoyed being at South by Southwest. It seems like everyone is in Austin this week, all the movers and shakers. And yeah, what we talked about today at the keynote was really a bunch of different things. I mean, first of all, AI is really still at the very beginnings of what we can do in technology. We can talk a lot about the data center. I usually start there. But I did spend some time talking about AI PCs. And I'm very excited about this continuum of AI products as you go from, cloud to edge to PC, and really trying to get, sort of the user experience such that everybody has AI somewhere in their lives.
That was Lisa Su, the CEO of AMD, talking about the company's AI PC strategy about a month ago. Su is a firm believer that all PCs in the future will be AI-powered, and now it looks like AMD is very close to achieving this. The PC industry has seen a roller coaster ride in recent years. Initially, there was a significant surge in demand during the pandemic, but subsequently, the market experienced a correction. While some prominent players in the industry have weathered this storm better than others, overall, PC industry stocks have lagged behind the broader market in the past year. However, there are signs of a potential rebound, with analysts predicting renewed growth for the PC market in 2024 and 2025. Not only that, but the global PC market is expected to reach $315.42 billion by 2029, growing at a compound annual growth rate of 9.1% from 2024 to 2029. This brings us to Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, whose stock price has been fluctuating dramatically since the beginning of 2024. Beyond the daily dips that could be long-term plays, AMD has a history of innovation, and their next product release could be a turning point. Let's explore in today's video how AMD's new Ryzen processors might be the company's next big catalysts. But before we do that, if you want to keep up with AMD's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates. Now, back to today's video. AMD recently announced its new Ryzen Pro 8000 series processors, extending the Hawk Point 8040 series to commercial laptop and desktop users, while simultaneously offering its Ryzen 8000 Phoenix APU models for commercial desktop PCs. As we've seen in the past, the Pro series is based on AMD's existing consumer-oriented processor models, but comes with additional features that tailor them for the commercial market. The new series is based on the Zen 4 AMD architecture, which the tech giant touts as the template for the world's most performant x86 processors, and boasts support for Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, and running local AI applications. Those same AI acceleration features are now headed to commercial users, allowing AMD to lay claim to being the first with professional CPUs armed with NPUs for laptops and desktops. AMD hasn't yet attached any retail price to its newly announced Ryzen 8000 series processors. However, the new CPU models are expected to start appearing in laptops and pre-built PCs in the upcoming months. On the other hand, AMD also confirmed the new Ryzen 9000 Zen 5 processors. The company hasn't released any official statements or held any press conferences, but it has let slip a mention of Ryzen 9000 in the latest chipset driver release. Both Ryzen 8000 and Ryzen 9000 have been flying around the rumor mills over the last few months, and since they're both confirmed now, AMD has a bright future ahead with these impressive new products. And speaking of upcoming AMD releases, we have the company's next-generation Ryzen CPU architecture, the Zen 5, which is expected to launch sometime in the second half of the year. Considering the launch of Zen 4 was in September 2022, we should expect to see Zen 5 desktop processors debut around the same timeframe, possibly with an announcement in the summer. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy.
Looks like Jerome Powell's speaking and S&Ps are on session lows. So, hey, all of this is fluid as always. Caroline, I was going to make a joke and said, I don't think that we had a downtick in this stock the entire time you were gone. You come back and now this stock's under a little bit of pressure. But would you say that HSBC's view on this space and AMD is kind of reflective of the street as a whole from those that you've talked to over the last week or so?
Alex, I think that the whole market, I'm questioning if it's me. First quarter was so good, and then I come back and yikes. But in terms of this analyst, the HSBC analyst, in terms of the broader analyst community, definitely joining the majority. If you take a look at the breakdown, there are 49 analysts that cover the stock, according to Refinitiv. 38 of them have buy ratings. There are only 11 holds and no sell ratings. That being said, that $225 price target is quite a bit higher than the median price target for AMD. The median is $195 according to Refinitiv. So that implies only a little bit, like what, 20% upside from current levels. So this analyst definitely on the bullish side when it comes to the price target and joining the majority with that rating.
AMD's latest Zen 4 processors are tearing up the market, but whispers are already swirling about the next generation Zen 5. While specifics are still under wraps, rumors suggest a major jump in performance. In fact, there are leaks that hint at a staggering 40% core-for-core performance improvement, especially for everyday tasks. Zen 4 focuses on raw power and clock speeds. On the other hand, Zen 5 might add in new built-in AI features and new instruction sets, catering more to video editors and machine learning enthusiasts. So, why would the Zen 5 release be a positive catalyst for AMD stock? Before the Zen 4 release, AMD stock was trading at about $95. Shortly after the release, AMD stock went on an astonishing run until it reached a high of $227.30 in March 2024. This is an increase of 139.26%. When you consider that Zen 5 is so much better than the Zen 4, you'd realize that AMD stock could see a more impressive jump after Zen 5 releases. Based on historical evidence, it becomes apparent that this is a plausible prediction, as we witnessed a similar pattern last year during the introduction of Zen 4. Moreover, this year will be different as we have AI integrated into Zen 5, which will meet the market's strong demand for AI.
HSBC sees an attractive risk-reward at current share levels, says market expectations for the company's MI300 2024 and 2025 revenue have been reset. So the street is looking for, or AMD's own guidance is $3.5 billion in sales for the MI300. HSBC's view is that the company could boost its forecast to above $5 billion. Also says AMD's next generation AI GPU is a more direct competitor to NVIDIA's GB200 in 2025. Thinks AMD has enough supply capacity and demand to surpass management's AI revenue guidance. He actually says that HSBC's base case is that AMD can take 10% of the market for AI GPUs in 2025. He says that would imply AMD's AI revenue for the next year can reach $12.3 billion. That's quite a bit higher than consensus, around $9 billion. But then his bull case is that AMD captures at least 15% of the market, and that could mean $18.5 billion of revenue from AI GPUs. So definitely bullish around the AI play there. Also lifted his earnings estimates for the full year of 2024 and 2025. Seems to be giving shares a boost. As you said, off session highs was up as much as a little bit over 2% just a few minutes ago. Now it's only up about 1.2%, but in the green nonetheless, and chipping away at some of those monthly losses. But yes, far cry from NVIDIA. Shares only up about 10% year to date. Taking a look at NVIDIA, 75% year to date gains. So far cry from that.
Now, let's move on to AMD's other plans for this year. It was recently reported that AMD is preparing a refresh of its MI300 AI accelerators, known as the MI350, which is also planned for later this year. Not only that, but the company also confirmed that its Instinct MI300X GPU delivers up to 1.6 times the performance of NVIDIA's H100 in AI inference workloads and offers similar performance in training work, providing the industry with a sorely needed high-performance alternative to NVIDIA's GPUs. If the MI300X accelerator could manage to achieve such staggering results compared to NVIDIA's H100, then surely the next MI350 will be a game changer as well when it is released. AMD is not backing up after its release for the MI350 later this year, as they also have plans for 2025. The company confirmed its next-generation MI400 AI accelerator, expected to release in 2025, will feature a more capable architecture that is tuned for the AI era. If you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
All right, an important story on China's reluctance to take U.S. technology. Renita Young, tell us about it.
Well, in the latest installment of the U.S.-China tech war, China has told its large telecom companies to stop or to phase out foreign chips. This is a direct hit, some say, on AMD and Intel. Officials ordered mobile operators to inspect their networks for non-Chinese semiconductors and then draft timelines to replace them.
Wow.
Of course, this is part of China's larger efforts to replace Western technology, and even the Chinese president started to stress these requirements for more self-reliance in tech. And then Chinese telecom carriers are going to more domestic alternatives as a result. He wants them to do that. But the interesting thing about all this, Oliver, is that the Chinese or the domestic alternatives were not up to par, which is why they used alternatives outside of the country. And now they say quality has improved in these domestic alternatives and the performance is even more stable. And so, like I said, it could be a hit to AMD and Intel. China was Intel's largest market last year, brought in about 27% of revenue, and then it was AMD's third largest market last year, bringing in about 15% of its revenue at that time. So it could be a sizable hit to either company.
Yeah, I think so. Right now we're seeing some pretty material downside in these stocks. Intel now fully kind of reversing lower in trend, and AMD threatening to break some support. So it's a kind of a tense session for the chip makers. Thanks, Renita. Good story, important one.
Recently, AMD stock has been in a downtrend after reaching a high of $227.30 in March. There are multiple reasons behind this, including the Federal Reserve delaying the rate cuts and Chinese officials telling major telecoms companies in the country to phase out foreign chips that are critical to their networks. In the midst of the US-China chip war, it's no surprise that this had a great impact on AMD, as China accounted for more than 10% of the revenue it generated in 2023. So, the announcement of the new Ryzen processor couldn't have come at a better time, sending the stock more than 2% higher. That is proof that if AMD keeps innovating with new products, the stock could enjoy significant boosts.
All right, next up, AMD off the highs of 227 recently. Some people were saying this name should have been in the Magnificent Seven. Year to date, it's up 20%. Some of your thoughts here.
Wow, this has been a great name. This name's fed my family for about a year and a half. I gave you this one back in January with the last sale of 164. At that time, I took our target price from 156 to 188. So I've given you this name a few times. It is one of my largest holdings. All right, the stock peaked, as you said, at 227 on March 8th. First quarter earnings are expected on May 1st. Projections are for an EPS of 61 cents on a revenue of $5.5 billion. That would compare to 60 cents a year ago and reflect year-over-year sales growth of only 2%. The focus will be on closing the massive gap in AI-capable GPUs with NVIDIA and on sales guidance. When we go to the chart, viewers will see the cup with handle pattern that apexed in late December that set up the breakout in January. The stock then went into its own period of consolidation during February and broke out to the upside again. What I see now, however, when you focus on the right side of the chart, is a bearish-looking head and shoulders pattern developing that has already drawn up the left shoulder and the head and is now trying to create the right shoulder. Relative strength has weakened. The stock's daily MACD has been bearishly postured since, let's say, mid-March. As the stock has lost its 50-day SMA, I have started to take profits. I am still long. It's still a large position and still positive long-term on the name. We all know I love Lisa Su. But this could be a good time for traders to trade and not for investors to invest. I am selling the shares below the 50-day SMA, which is 182. I am planning to re-enter at February's support of 161. I will panic if it gets down to the 200-day SMA down around 133. And my long-term target is a new high of 228. But understand that is not created through any of my models. That is just because I put a target on everything I do. So, and traders at home should understand that. If you're in anything, you should probably always have some kind of target on what you're doing because you need to know where you're going to go, where you want to go, and where you don't want to go.
A few days ago, this analyst talked about how AMD stock reaching $162 would be a good buying opportunity. As of the time of this video, AMD stock is trading at $154.02, so the buying opportunity is more obvious than ever, especially with the upcoming releases. And it's not just us saying this. In fact, 30 Wall Street analysts gave the stock a strong buy rating in the last 90 days, while 8 analysts gave it a buy rating. In stark contrast, only one analyst gave the stock a sell rating. The average price target these analysts put on AMD stock is $197.20, which is a 28.04% upside from where it's trading now. So Wall Street is also extremely bullish on the stock. On top of that, investment banking firm Evercore recently started covering AMD and is extremely bullish on the stock, setting a $200 price target deriving from a 24 times price-to-earnings ratio applied to their projected 2027 EPS of $10. Evercore is bullish thanks to AMD's acquisition of Xilinx in October 2020 and sees it as a strategic move with significant long-term potential that could yield over $10 billion in revenue synergies. However, these synergies may not materialize until 2025 due to a current cyclical downturn in the FPGA business. AMD has carved a path in the chip market with innovation and strategic comebacks throughout the years. Their K6 processors in the late 90s offered similar performance to competitors at a lower price, disrupting the market, and the Athlon era solidified AMD's position as one of the key players in the market. Now, the company's roadmap shows steady progress for AMD's Instinct accelerator lineup over the next few years. The MI350 refresh this year will provide improved AI inference and training performance. Then the MI400 in 2025 will introduce a new architecture tailored for the evolving AI landscape. AMD is working to boost its competitiveness and offer alternatives to NVIDIA's dominance in the AI accelerator market. AMD faces competition from NVIDIA in the data center AI market, which it estimated a 70% annual growth rate for and a market value of $400 billion in 2027. The good news is AMD claimed their market potential for the AI accelerators to reach $45 billion. Given this, analysts predict that AMD will capture at least a 20% market share, which could unlock around $9 billion in revenue. So, there's a lot of opportunity for the company's MI300X series. So, what do you think about AMD stock? Is it a buy at the current price? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And don't forget to tell us what your valuation for AMD is. If you would like to know more about the latest updates about companies like AMD, then go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.